Welcome to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. To our viewers at home, where are you on your road to retirement? Are you a year away, a month away, a week away? And if so, why would you hire a financial advisor? Well, much like taking care of your health, you would hire a personal trainer, you would hire a coach, you would hire someone with nutrition. Well, we feel that financial advising is a very important component to your retirement health. Kristina, how are you today?
Fantastic. Great to be here with you always, my dear soul sister. This is so much fun.
It is so much fun. And thank you for bearing with me. I've got a little bit of a little frog in my throat today, so we're just going to kind of make it through. But this show is amazing. You started the series, The Financial Wellness. And let's talk about that, the picture of someone's life, how we've talked about this before. Your wealth is your health, and your health is your wealth. They go hand in hand. Talk about why someone should work with a financial advisor.
When you think about a financial advisor, a lot of folks think, oh, I don't have enough money, or I'm not wealthy enough, or maybe I don't really need a financial advisor. So why would we choose one in the first place? Well, the number one thing that comes to my mind is you're receiving expertise and knowledge. That's what's behind you. Anytime that something's going on in your life, you definitely want someone there that is in your corner, that has the expertise and the knowledge to break down exactly what it is that you need.
That is true. And talk a little bit about that. So are we talking about investment strategies, retirement planning, tax strategies? Why does someone need to have that in their corner, especially with retirement?
Well, and all of the above. Anytime that people are talking about retirement, they just think, oh, okay, it's going to be a cake and a little bit of a party, and I'm going to get my little surprise gift exiting out the door, and I have my Social Security and income the rest of my life. It's not that easy anymore.
That's true.
Everything has shifted. And when I think about what it is in financial planning that makes Powerful Legacy very different, is that it's actually a full financial plan. We talk about all these things on the show. And as people are calling into the show, Cynthia, they're telling me, you actually do exactly what you say. Yes. You're giving me the tax information. You're giving me the legacy and estate information on top of the overall financial plan. And if you're missing any of those pieces, it's not even a full plan.
It's not. And it's so amazing how you just brought up the fact that the face of retirement has changed. Because obviously we remember when people were retiring with their pensions, they retired with Social Security, and their plan was to just relax on the porch. Well, now people are retiring, Kristina, sometimes at such a younger age, and they're active. They want to be doing more things. And when do you spend the most money? On a Saturday. And in retirement, isn't every day a Saturday? I mean, truly.
Every day's a Saturday. I do spend more money on Saturdays, unless we're talking about Amazon.
That is true. Then it's 24/7.
That's 24/7. There's no way to get around that one.
Yes.
But yes, I think about those Saturdays, and you know, my popsicle budget back over the summer for my little grandson just went through the roof because every Saturday we were eating a bunch of popsicles together. And you think about that. What are those treats in life and in retirement and bringing it all to fruition? Well, when we talk about what type of an advisor that you need, I want to jump into that one, Cynthia, because a lot of folks have a good advisor, but it's not an actual retirement advisor.
Oh, that's a big difference. Let's talk a little bit about that. What is the difference between someone working in the accumulation phase, Kristina, versus when you're decumulating, if you will?
Yes, decumulating and spending that money down. When you turn off your paycheck and you turn on your lifetime savings as a stream of income, folks, this is the largest transition that you will make in your financial life. I know you may not believe me, but when you think back, when you bought your first home, or when you had your first child, or maybe even buying an automobile, these are really big milestones, and financially they cost a lot. Well, when we are talking about preserving the wealth for the rest of your life and decumulating those funds to make sure that you don't run out of money, which is the #1 goal for retirees, it can get a little complicated. And a lot of advisors do a really good job at the accumulation phase or contributing into a retirement account, managing that money, gambling it in the market, if you will. That's a teeny tiny little piece. Asset management is a tiny little piece of the overall retirement plan.
That's true, because it's so important to have tax strategies in mind. So many people think, I'm going to retire, my taxes are going to be less because I'm earning less, but that is not necessarily true. Let's talk about the importance of tax planning, if we could.
This has been coming. You know it's here. When you retire, the tax bomb is going to completely explode. You have just been absolutely duped on your taxes. You went in and you signed up for your 401ks and your group plans, whatever it is that you're contributing to. You might be getting a match. This is great. You think that everything's going to be in order, but there's a third party that has been waiting for that money all this time, and that would be Uncle Sam. And you know, this could end up being 25, 30% of your retirement income. So how can we minimize those taxes? Not paying anything. That's not what we're saying. But minimize those taxes and see what we can do to give you the best accumulation that's going to be lifelong. And folks, when we're talking about taxes, we do have a tool. It's called the Powerful Tax Bill. The Powerful Tax Bill, click on that little QR code down there. And once you jump on, it's going to ask you just a couple of little questions. And it's going to give you a full report on your taxes. What taxes should you be expecting to pay, and what could you pay if you use a good tax strategy? There's no bait and switch inside of here. We actually own this software to where you're not going to have someone calling and bothering you. And what's really going to take place is you're going to get a good glimpse of what can I do to save on my taxes. If you're worried about taxes, jump on there, powerfultaxbill.com. Take a look. Let's see what your taxes could be in retirement.
I love that. And what type of information do they put in? Do they put in what they're earning, what they've saved? What does that look like when someone visits the website? Because I know our viewers are right now going to powerfultaxbill.com. What are they expecting to see?
Well, ever so fun enough, we just need to know how old you are.
That's fun.
Because we actually need to calculate out some life expectancy here. That's what we're really looking for. How long could this retirement be? Ladies, if you're 65, you have a 1 in 7 chance of living to age 95. That is huge. So making sure that the longevity is going to be there, we're asking your age. How much money do you have in pre-tax retirement savings or tax-qualified accounts, like your 401ks, 403bs, 457s, TSPs, TSAs, your traditional IRAs? How much do you have in there? Put that amount in their total. Nothing that you've saved after taxes. We're just looking to calculate the taxes. And then it's going to give you a calculation out there, let you know exactly what that tax bill is going to be. It'll give you a tax rate. If you do not know what your tax rate is going to be, there's a default of 25%, so just leave that. And you can go back in and make adjustments if you need to. Click on it and take a look at that report. It's pretty awesome.
It really is, and I love it. Just takes a few moments of your time, and the report is so amazing when people receive that.
Yes.
Kristina, in your experience, I know that you do so many workshops around the area.
Yes.
And it seems like when you're doing a workshop that specifically talks about taxes, people can't wait to grab a seat. They have so many questions. People are afraid of the unknown. In your experience, how many people fail to plan for taxes when it comes to their retirement? Is that a staggering number overall?
It's huge. The thing that concerns me the most is that people get confused tax preparation with tax planning. Tax preparation is every year we have those income taxes and we've got to prepare those returns and be done with it. That's preparation. That's not planning. Tax planning is planning for the taxation for the rest of your life that will be the most tax favorable, tax-free, tax efficient. We want to talk about all of those wonderful things.
Well, Kristina, I know that you're very busy, but you have saved a specific number of spots for people to come in and meet with you for the very first time. What do you have for those folks at home that are leaning in, wanting to pick up the phone and meet with you one-on-one?
Well, folks, the first thing is I would love to just see what we can do to bless you with information. If you're needing to look at taxes, again, jump on there and take a look at the tax bill, powerfultaxbill.com. If you would like a little bit more information, we actually have a book here, The Retirement Train. Come by and grab a copy. Our office is off Blazer Parkway, beautiful new office in Lexington, over by St. Joseph Hospital. And it's actually just in the building next door to where the office has been for the last 6 years. So come in and take a look. And then in Louisville, we're just off the Watterson Expressway there at the DuPont Towers. Come in and get some information. If you'd like to set up a complimentary review, maybe it's a little bit more in-depth and you just want to sit down and talk about it, we would love to bless you with that time along with the information. The number on the screen is what you called to get a person. They're going to answer the phone and get you on my calendar, 877-893-5099. If you just have some general questions, of course, you can jump to the website, yourpowerfullegacy.com.
Kristina, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number to call, 877-893-5099. Or even simpler, grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Remember, you need to have a retirement coach in your corner. You've worked your entire life to get through retirement years, and really and truly, your retirement wealth is your health, and health is your wealth. They go hand in hand. Kristina wants to be your coach today, but you have to take advantage. Call in to 877-893-5099. I have so much more with Kristina when we return. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on Your Powerful Legacy TV.
Property and casualty insurance is how I really got started. I was supposed to go to law school and be an attorney, and I'm so glad I did not take that road. But when I think about what is it that really led me to honing in on this craft of retirement planning, my grandparents had a major loss back in 2008. I watched what happened with the market and how it affected their retirement plan, and they were not able to retire how and when they wanted to. It automatically just pushed me in a natural direction of trying to protect people in a whole other way. It's been something that I've been working on for several years. Anyone who is starting their own business has to be about halfway crazy because it is such a huge risk. I mean, you risk everything. And I went from having steady W-2 pay and benefits to now everything is on my shoulders and my son's pay because they were both with me opening the business and licensed agents as well. But having my boys alongside with me, that is the most amazing because our relationship is just tighter than ever, and I knew I wanted legacy to be inside of my business name because I want to leave that ultimate legacy.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And today we're talking all about the importance of having a financial advisor that is actually a coach in your corner. Health, wealth equals happiness, and that's what today's show is all about. We want you to have a well-rounded, healthy retirement. Kristina, I love our whole series about this financial wellness and health and how it ties in together. And I know a lot of people have questions, especially about investment strategies as you approach retirement, because so often people can kind of have a set it and forget it portfolio, if you will. They don't know what they're invested in. They don't know why. And why is that dangerous when people are coming in for the first time and they don't even know what they have invested and where?
This is exactly what I hear on a regular basis. People have no idea what is in your portfolio. How much risk are you taking inside of the portfolio? How much is it costing? Is it going to weather the storm if we have another major market correction or a reset? Folks, if you do not have any idea what's going on here, you could end up losing everything. That's not good.
No.
We want to make sure that you're not going to run out of money in retirement. So just having that portfolio in order, if you will. When we think about the investment management, that's just a tiny little piece of the portfolio.
Yes.
Diversification, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. I mean, we can sit here and mumbo jumbo this financial language, and all that's going to do is bore you. Let me tell you. Why are you in these different types of investments? Why is it what's best for you? Let's show you how and tell you why. If you do come in for a review and you sit down and talk to us, and there are some adjustments that need to be made immediately, we have what's called a portfolio observation that we run. It's a red light, yellow light, green light. Those red lights, we will tell you exactly what needs to be changed and what you can do about it immediately. We don't just, kind of, well, this is wrong, got to fix it. We're going to tell you exactly what it is to fix.
And I love that because some people have no idea how much risk they're actually taking. Like the most common answer that you hear is, how risky are you? Most people say, well, I think I'm moderate. Well, what does that even mean? Like, how are you comparing that? Who do you compare it to?
My favorite thing to do is sit down with a couple, because what is moderate? Let's break this down by a percentage instead of a word. Yeah. When we do have the words, we use conservative, then moderate, then growth, then aggressive. So those are basically the 4 different milestones within risk, if you will. And when I sit down with a couple and say, can you tell me how much of a percentage loss in the portfolio is moderate for you? So if you have $100,000 in there, how much could you lose? And you know that that's just moderate and you're comfortable in the moderate range. I'm going to get something like the husband will say 30% and the wife will say 10. That's very normal, seeing a little bit more risk on the gentleman's side. And ladies, we don't take quite as much risk. I don't know what it is. It's maybe just because that's why we live longer.
Yes, we like to have that little safety net, I think. I agree with that. It's very, very true.
Yes.
And it's important to have that in alignment, especially when you're an older couple that's approaching retirement, if you will. You don't want to have one person that's taking way too much risk, and that can be very scary if it's not addressed.
Gentlemen, I'm not trying to kill you out there, but chances are that your wife is going to outlive you. And so if there's a situation where you are taking too much risk, you could actually be putting her life at risk, her portfolio at risk, what's going to be there for her for the rest of her life. So sitting down talking about the risks together, I do have a referee whistle in the back, so we can get a hold of one of those and keep you guys right there on track, and no fights, no arguments, everything will be okay. But seriously, when you sit down and have that conversation about risk, do you know what your risk tolerance is? How much risk can you tolerate if you knew it was going to take 3 to 5 years to get back to even?
That's true. And kind of shifting gears a little bit, talk about the importance of working with the right financial advisor when you're talking about estate planning. That is a big thing for so many people right now. They want to know more information about how do they pass on to their loved ones what they want to hold dear.
Well, I'm going to debunk this for just a moment. Who should have an estate plan? Absolutely everyone. Whether it's something of what may just be a minute value, I mean, maybe only even emotional value to some, versus grand estates that you have worked your whole life and maybe it's multi-generational. Everyone deserves an estate plan. This is my favorite thing to talk about next to taxes. I know that sounds weird, folks. I do love talking about taxes, but how to save you on taxes. We can also talk about saving taxes within the estate. What if there's a way that we could get you a step-up basis on the cost and the differential with the capital gains on your own home, leaving this to your family? So let's just say that that home is worth $500,000 when you pass away, and then when your children or your heirs sell it, it's worth $550,000. What if there's a way to only pay the capital gains on that $50,000 step up versus what you paid for it into what was being sold? So there are some ways that we can talk about that legacy and estate planning and save significantly on those taxes. This is not just for the rich. I know a lot of you think, oh, well, I don't have that $13.99 million, so I'm not worried about it. You should be. You should be, because do you want the government to have control of your estate, or do you want to be in control? When we sit down and talk about what we can do to give you more information, we do have the Powerful Legacy Quiz. This is about estate planning. Jump in there and just take a look at this quiz, go over the little bitty different questions. What this is going to do is just trigger what the answers will be that you need to have a look at. This is so simple. If you're out there going to an education session with some lawyers and they're promising you a platinum package, estate planning for $49.95, you know what, that is absolute garbage, and we're hearing a lot of this. Folks, everyone's estate is completely different, and it needs to be personalized, a very holistic estate plan just for you.
Absolutely, and it's so important, and I'm so glad that you have saved a little bit of time for those new folks that are coming in. But before we take our next commercial break, the importance of having someone establish their goals for retirement. I know that's a big one. When people are first coming in, they're like, Kristina, I have absolutely no idea what I want to do in my retirement or how much I need to even save. How do you break that apart? How do you start that? I know we have to take a commercial break in just a moment, but that's a big question.
Well, before we jump in, goals are not just about finances. They're going to be about your health, your wealth, your happiness, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, of course, financially. All of those things do go hand in hand. Retirement is a really big shift in your life. What is it going to look like beyond this? We do have some major things that take place that can change your life forever. Like, obviously, having children, that's a really big one. Grandchildren, for those of you who know, you know, grandchildren, that's one of the most amazing blessings on this earth. My little grandson was listening to us the other day. We were just having a little bit of conversation over dinner, you know, because both my boys work in the firm.
Yep.
And out of nowhere, he's just sitting there eating his dinner, and he just goes, tax?
No, he did.
He just randomly says words. I was telling you the other day how he just says Crocs when he's talking about his shoes.
That is the
He just goes, tax. I'm like, what? Look how tax aware he is. And he's so little. He's not even 2.
That is precious. I love it. Well, he is just amazing. Well, Kristina, time for our next commercial break. To our viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen, 877-893-5099. If you're in the viewing audience today and you're asking yourself, do I have a plan for my retirement? Do I have a financial coach? Do I have wellness? Do I know what my life is going to look like once I make the decision to no longer work again? Well, this is your opportunity to come in and meet with Kristina. Once again, you can call into 877-893-5099 or grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. You'll be able to schedule your time one-on-one with Kristina. Remember, it's completely complimentary. There's no obligation whatsoever. And you've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years. Don't you deserve to have peace of mind? We think you do. We'll be right back on Your Powerful Legacy TV. Stay tuned.
Let me ask you something. If something happened to you tomorrow, would your family know what to do? Would they know where your documents are, who to call, what your wishes are? I've worked with a lot of families, and I've seen what happens when that clarity is missing. It's not the money that causes pain, it's the guessing. That's why I've created a free estate planning checklist. It covers everything from your will to power of attorney to digital accounts and even where your important documents are stored. It's a simple step that can make a huge difference. If you'd like a copy for yourself or someone you care about, just reach out. It's a small thing that can save your family from very big problems.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She's CEO of Powerful Legacy. I am so sorry. Forgive me for that, Kristina. I am getting through today with allergies, as you know, and I apologize. We have to keep going. I'm just going to cough. But today's show is so important. Talking about health and wealth as the host is sitting here coughing to death.
Allergies are not sickness. They're just part of living in the United States, right?
Isn't it? I know.
It's everywhere. It's from east to west, north to south.
It totally is. Wherever we go, it's so true. They just kind of follow us. But again, thank you for your patience. To the viewers, thank you at home for your patience. But all of the websites are so amazing. If we could talk a little bit about the last one that was in the commercial, the yourpowerfullegacyquiz.com, because we talked about this. So many people have questions about how to truly plan for their estate. Why did you come up with that website?
Well, Powerful Legacy Quiz is one of those things where I want you to be able to see that you do have some things that you need to think about, some really huge triggers. We're not just talking about your retirement accounts, because let's face it, those don't normally need to be any type of documents or anything like that. We can just normally put a beneficiary on those. Everything's going to be okay. But listen, folks, what if you could completely avoid probate? What if you didn't have to worry about the government having their hands in anything concerning your entire estate? There are ways to get that taken care of. What if you could protect everything that you have earned from a major health event? That's what we're going to talk about. And when you think about legacy and estate and all of these things, a lot of people say, oh, well, I don't really have a legacy. I don't have a big estate. Well, yes, you do. For most folks who own your home, that's your next largest asset to your retirement account.
Most definitely.
Yes, that is huge. And, you know, owning a home is one of the most amazing privileges. Not everyone gets that. Of course, you have to work for it. It's not something that is just handed to you. That's not what I'm saying at all as far as privilege, but what a blessing it is here that we get to have so many homeowners and protecting those homes, especially in retirement. Folks, I'm just going to tell you right now, the reason why Cynthia and I are sitting on this show and I'm not your first female president of the United States, I really don't think any senior should ever pay any taxes in retirement at all. That would include on your home, any type of health care, on retirement, anything. You've already paid your dues, so I lost. Womp womp.
I love it. And it's true, though. It's a very valid point. It's so true. So talk a little bit about behavioral guidance, because so often when it comes to financial planning, retirement planning, emotions can come into play. Why is it important to have a coach to avoid making some really hesitant, I don't know if you will, just emotional decisions, just kind of willy-nilly?
Well, money is very emotional. If you don't believe me that money is emotional, just ask a divorce attorney. That's the #1 argument. It's a really big deal.
Yeah.
But also when you think about that, what about inside of the legacy? If you don't have all those documents in place, folks, that can be so messy, and I know you don't want to leave that with your heirs. You want to make sure that everything's going to be nice and smooth. But when we're talking about behavioral guidance, I'm not saying that you can't behave a little bit like a stinker, but let's keep things nice and happy and healthy, because if you react, you're probably not going to make it. We need to be very proactive in our decisions. We need to make sure that everything is in order before the worst comes. Let's just say that we take a market fluctuation. Let's say that we're down 25 points, and it just feels erratic, it's scary, oh my gosh, should I just sell everything and put it in cash? Well, no, we're not going to lock in losses. And if we have your risk tolerance in place, you're not going to lose 25% if your risk tolerance is only around 10. So sitting down, having the conversation about the bottom side in the behavioral finance, that is huge. Also, how do you spend money and why do you spend money? I do see a lot of retirees that get very bored. And there is nothing better than being bored and sitting there ordering stuff online, right?
That is true. That is very, very true.
I'll just sit and look around and I'm like, look at all these home projects. Oh, I'm kind of tired of those curtains. I think I'll swap those.
It's true. It's very, very true. I love that.
That's such an easy one. So how can we keep you from making those short-term decisions, behavioral, financial decisions, if you will, and get you into a good, healthy behavior?
And most definitely, let's talk a little bit about the peace of mind that someone has by working with the right retirement planning specialist. I mean, you're giving people such amazing guidance when it comes to their retirement years. How do you even put a price tag on that? Peace of mind, Kristina.
I think in the last handful of years, I'm not trying to offend anybody because I'm just not in that generation at all. Gen X, we're not easily offended. We drink from a water hose. So
That's true.
It doesn't really matter.
That's true.
But when you think about the peace of mind, folks, you just can't put a price on that. And a lot of people want financial peace. You want to make sure that you know exactly how things are going to go. But if you're just planning to do this yourself and you're planning to make all these decisions and you do not know what you're doing, that's not going to give you peace of mind. It's going to bring you stress. It's going to bring you anxiety. I know those are kind of trigger words these days. A lot of people, oh, I have so much stress, I have so much anxiety, when necessarily it's not. You're just not taking the right steps to solve problems.
So again, it comes down to having the right guide, having peace of mind, and that's what's so important is all of this comes together holistically when you're working with the right retirement coach, if you will, and you're passionate about health, wealth equaling happiness, Kristina.
I think one of the things that you can do the very best, folks, is just be kind to yourself, be very patient with yourself. This is a really big transition. A lot of times we see people retire because you have to. Your health is not holding anymore, or perhaps your job is gone, it's been eliminated. What can we do to give you that peace of mind and make sure that everything's going to be okay for the rest of your life? What if you have a little bit different retirement? What if it's going to be transitional? So you're going to retire from that every day, maybe go to something part-time. Maybe you're going to open up a whole other career that's going to be based on your passions and your hobbies. That's okay, we can sit down and talk about that. We did open the phone lines earlier in the show, and if you're thinking about any of these things, you're thinking about, oh, do I need a written retirement plan? Yes, you do. We would love to give you one complimentary written financial plan. This is important. You want to talk about taxes? Let's talk about your risk. Folks, let's talk about the expertise and the knowledge that you deserve. We would love to give you some of our time and bless you with that information. Give us a call, 877-893-5099.
Kristina, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, the number to call, 877-893-5099. You deserve to have peace of mind in your retirement years. Pick up the phone, call Kristina today. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Your Powerful Legacy TV.